Once again, I can't get on. I've got to be on the phone for some reason. It just doesn't work for me. Are we ready to start the meeting?
I believe we are, Jim.
Okay, so I'd like to call this meeting to order. And I think, Tina, if you want to go first for now.
Sure. So as you know, I just wanted to make sure that the board was all aware. I had sent an email out. We lost one of our board members last 2 weeks ago. Alan Sudentis passed away. It was rather sudden. He had been hospitalized, ended up having emergency open heart surgery that did not go well. He lived another day and a half after the surgery and then passed away. It is a huge loss for the senior center and for me personally. Alan has just been such a great, dedicated volunteer. He's done so much for the Friends group. I can't say enough. And I also feel really strongly that when he was appointed to the board, Mayor Sullivan and I worked on that appointment together. And I just felt it was really important to have representation from someone who is living, from a senior who's living in senior subsidized housing. I felt that Alan brought a different perspective than other members of the board, and I feel like that's very important. So I will be lobbying to have, to have that representation. I think that's just important. So anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge all that he did, both behind the scenes and at the scenes and so forth. But it was just a huge support. And I have known Alan for 12 years. He started volunteering the day he walked in the door and was still volunteering for the Friends group, helping us with our calendar raffle back in February. So that's my dedication to Alan. The obituary was in the paper last week. Donations can be made to the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center, which was the group that was near and dear to his heart. And we are planning on a memorial service for him later this summer. Nancy Greenwood, his girlfriend, and I will be planning something. So I will let you know.
Oh, that's great. And I was thinking the same thing, that he was so involved from the senior living, subsidized housing. I was thinking, that really did, he seemed to enjoy it, and that really did bring a different perspective. And I think you're right in sort of planning that you might ask another person from those communities.
Yeah, that is the board members, as you know, are appointed by the mayor, but I will be, and I believe I've actually already made that suggestion to the mayor. So we'll see what he does with it.
Good.
Okay, thank you. I know I always appreciated Alan's sense of humor at our meetings. It was a great addition. Okay, anybody else, or can we continue on? Okay, so the next thing on the agenda would be the approval of the minutes of May 10th, 2021 meeting. Do I hear a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, fine.
Okay, second?
Second, Eileen.
I'll second. Okay. Any additions or corrections?
Who seconded?
I did, Eileen.
Okay, Eileen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any additions or corrections? None heard. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes. Okay. Next on the agenda would be public participation. And I'm going to go first with the Highland Valley Elder Services report. I think I'm pretty sure as of this week, all of the Highland Valley employees will be returning to the office. That was the first thing. Next, there are open positions. There's a care advisor. There's a human resources director. And there's an I&R person for the Washington House. So those are the open positions at Highland Valley right now. home care, the home care division will be returning to face-to-face meetings. I think they're going to be returning to a meeting in person by mid-month. So that's the next thing that's happening because of the easing of restrictions of COVID. The ombudsmen are also able to meet with people in the residence room if they're both vaccinated. And if they're not vaccinated, then they can meet outdoors or inside. There's going to be a room designated the clean room. So they'll be able to start meeting with people presently. Kelly Slattery has been hired as the next director for the Meals on Wheels and Nutrition. She's going to be starting on July 26th. Nancy Mathers, who is the present director, will be leaving on July 6th, but she'll be a temporary coach for the program, so she'll be able to continue helping to make the transition. The community dining is still on a take-home process, and they are in excess of 200 a day. The other thing nutrition is looking at an alternative meal choice, and I was surprised the largest challenge to this is just technology related on how they handle having these alternative meals. There's also been a request to have vegetation. What's the word I'm looking for?
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian, yeah.
Vegetarian, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
They're also looking for not being able to see people and be on this call is really, it upsets me. But so vegetarian, and they're also looking at, there's been a request for vegetarian and making religious meals available also. Let's see, the last thing, Highland Valley we will not meet again until September. Highland Valley Board doesn't meet during the summer. And that is my report. Are there any questions?
Jim, I have a question. Is the person, Slattery, whoever that was, what was her first name?
Yes.
Kelly, is she replacing Nancy Mathers, or is she the nutritionist or the dietitian? I'm a little confused.
No, I'm sorry if I was confusing on that. She is replacing Nancy Mathers.
She is, okay.
Yes.
And just so this group knows, Nancy Mathers has been in that position since long before I came. I started 15 years ago. I think Nancy's over 20 years with Highland Valley, so
she was in that position for 31 years.
Oh my God. Yeah.
31 years. And Riley, who I forgot Riley's last name, he runs the kitchen.
Yes.
His responsibilities are also going to be increasing.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some of the things that Nancy used to do, Riley is picking up.
Okay. Well, I'm glad they found a replacement because I thought she'd be very difficult to replace.
Yep. So, okay. Are there any other questions? If not, the next item on the agenda is the tax work-off ordinance change.
Hey, Jim, can we just back up for 1 minute because I realized that we skipped over public participation. There is someone on the call and I don't know who they are.
Oh.
It's looking as Kathleen Raj Hill something. Can you identify yourself, please? To unmute yourself, you're going to hit *6 if you're on your phone. Do we know who she is? Okay, all right. Why? Because I'm getting a partial last name and Liz is going to need that for the minutes. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Pete. That's what we needed.
First name?
Kathleen with a K.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Jim?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I missed that one. As I said, this being on the telephone instead of being on the computer is
Yeah.
taking me off of
Tricky.
my game. Okay, so the next thing would be the tax work-off ordinance change.
Right, so I just wanted to let the board know, as Counselor Figgy obviously knows, and thank you for your support on that. So the ordinance was changed. It went to City Council. That one went to the Legislative and Ordinance Committee. I met with them via Zoom to plead my case here on behalf of the board. So the change has been made, and I do have the new official ordinance in my hand. So the maximum abatement per household will be increased from $500 to $800 per year. And the number of participants will be reduced from 40 to 25 unless there's more money that gets put into the budget for the program. And in that case, it'll just be the number of people that we can accommodate based on whatever the increase is. So and it's interesting because I had two people today who called me about the tax work-off program. I think both of them had called. One had done it in the past, one has not. They had both called me, several months ago, and I said, well, check back in June because right now it's sitting in council. And as I said to them, they asked me, are we going to do the program? And I said to them, right now, I don't know because I have to put the call out to the department heads to see if anybody wants to have a volunteer in the office. And I also have to work with the volunteers in public schools to see what the schools are going to do about it. So, we may or may not have the program this year. We may or may not, if we do have it, we may or may not start in September. We might not start until a little bit later. So I'm just letting people know when they call me, but I'm taking names. And I said, if and when we have it, ultimately we'll have it at some point, I will get applications out to those people. So thank you, Councilor Figgy, for, pushing this over the finish line with the City Council. Much appreciated.
Okay. Are there any questions? So next on the agenda would be the hybrid model for programs and activities.
Okay, so, right after we had our last board meeting in May, and I had all these wonderful plans and a newsletter that was 90% written, and then the governor said, oh, well, we're not going to wait till August, we're going to push things up, and that, completely changed everything. So what we ended up with is this. We continue to do curbside meals. We will continue to do curbside meals throughout the month of July and probably into the first half of August. So right now, my target with the staff, with the kitchen crew and with my staff, our target is to bring back indoor dining, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, sometime in mid-August. That's the plan right now. Stay tuned. That may change by the July meeting, but that's where we are with that one. We are doing 3 fitness programs outside in the early morning under the 10. That's been going really well. We're doing the mail call class and the men are really having a great time. They had an absolutely gorgeous day last Thursday for it. We have the line dancers out there. And then we have a new program that Carol Palmer is doing called Totally Fun Fitness. She's doing that twice a month, the first and last Wednesday of the month. So she did the first one. And then we'll see about the last one. So those are being done outside. And then we brought 7 programs indoors to start in June. They're all fairly targeted programs where people come in, they sit down for the most part, and then they leave. So right now I have the chess players here. They come in, they signed in, they checked in. They're in the Creativity Center. You can hear a pin drop in there because they're very quiet when they play chess. On Friday, we had some bingo players in here. It looked very different than what they were used to with bingo. It was not round tables. We had them at rectangular tables, 2 at either end of the table, all facing the screen. We capped that one at 30. And I think we had about 25 people. very enthusiastic. They said to me on one of them came through the lunch line today and said it was just so good to be back and to see people. And even though it was, quite restricted with what we all have to do and hand washing and all of that stuff, they were glad to be back. We brought the art class back last week. Again, check them in, take them down to the art room, and we are limiting capacities right now. And we're limiting them to what I'm just calling reasonable capacities. And those I worked out with Joe Rouse from the health department, because once the governor kind of threw out the 6-foot rule and the 10 people per 1,000 square foot rule, which was kind of easy to calculate for us, then it became a matter of, okay, well, what guidelines are we following? So Joe and I came up with what we, feel like it's practical, it's doable, and as we continue to get people vaccinated, it seems safe. So we've got the book group coming in this week. Liz is happy about that because she is our facilitator for the Novel Ideas book group. I'm trying to think of what else we're bringing back. I have a support group that I'm going to bring back. That's a monthly group, so that will be coming back at the end of the month. And we have the quilters coming back this week. And I think that's it for the Under the Roof. Next month, we will add chair yoga. That's a big one. We have 3 sessions and we'll add those in-house Under the Roof next month. We're still in the process of getting the fitness room ready because we had put floor guard down in the fitness room when we thought we'd be able to do a vaccine clinic here. So getting it up carefully so that it can be reused down the road is proving to be quite the painstaking task. So, but that should be done by mid-July when we need it for chair yoga. So that's it. The programs are under the tent, under the roof, and at the curb. Everyone who comes in and does any program, whether inside, outside, has got to sign a new release of liability form. That form was developed in partnership with Jack Fitzgerald, Attorney Fitzgerald from our law department. And the front part of it is all the legal jargon, which basically says enter at your own risk. The city's not liable if you get sick or if you injure yourself. Now, we always had a form like that for people taking fitness classes, but this one is a more general form. And it's being used for anyone that participates in anything. Because if you don't sign the form, you're not coming in the door. And on the back of it is just the list of what the latest protocols are with, hand washing. Mask wearing is not mandatory. They can wear them if they want. We also, at Attorney Fitzgerald's suggestion, we also have all over that release of liability that if you are not fully vaccinated, we strongly encourage you not to come into the building for your own safety. We're not denying access, but we are encouraging people to think twice before they do that. So that's where we are with the hybrid model right now. And everything right now, everything is pre-registration. So there's no, you just walk in the building and you can, join in. What we'll do in July to kind of expand programming, as I said, we're going to add the chair yoga class. That'll be the only thing that we add inside, but we will be getting rid of most of the pre-signups because at that point we feel like we're getting a better handle on about how many people want to participate. So that'll be the biggie for July because right now it's pretty tedious. We have different times when people have to call to sign up. So that'll kind of be the change that we'll be doing there. And then in August, things will open up a little bit more. That's it.
So
Question?
Tina, are the,
Any,
I have a question. I'm sorry. I have a question. So whatever the fitness is, it has to be called in on a certain day at a certain time. There'll be no more registering by arriving at a certain time and filling out.
No, actually, Barbara, when we bring in, that's the way we're doing it now because all the fitness classes that we're doing now are pay as you go. So the payment is made directly to the instructor.
Okay.
Once we bring back chair yoga, we will be doing a pre-registration for a July session and an August session. And we're
Oh.
going to do that pre-registration is going to be curbside. We're going
Okay.
to do it as a drive-through. So Mary Lou and we have it pretty much all figured out. That information will all be in the July newsletter because the registration for that will be in early July and the
Oh.
July session will actually start middle of the month. So
Okay.
those classes, because that's a contract with the YMCA and we have to pay the Y,
Okay.
a set fee, we will be doing pre-registration we will be doing pre-registration, but it won't be the same way we used to do it.
Okay,
It'll be
it'll be
curbside,
private.
but we are going to do it.
Okay. That's interesting.
Okay? Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Yeah.
It will be, but I think we've thought of everything, but who the heck knows?
Yeah.
We're going to try it. I think
Yeah,
it'll work.
It sounds like a good idea, actually. I wouldn't have thought of that, but it sounds like a good idea, really.
Yeah.
Because you have the curbside pickup down to a science with
We
the
do.
lunch. So
Yeah.
you've got everybody where they should be, and yeah, it seems like that'll work well. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have really detailed instructions, Barb, in the July newsletter for anybody who wants to sign up for either the July, the August, or both of those chair yoga sessions. So,
Okay, thank you.
okay. Anybody else?
Okay,
Any
yes.
questions?
Yeah, and thank you, Tina, for what you and your staff do as far as being, the flexibility that you're displaying right now is like infinite. With all the limitations and what's happening, I think you're providing as much as you possibly can for our seniors, and that's very commendable.
Well, thank you. We feel like we are, but I will tell you that, we do have seniors that are calling that want to know, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? When can we come inside to eat? And, what we just keep saying to people is I'm referring, and my staff, we're just referring everybody to the June newsletter because I spent so much time on that newsletter outlining not just what we're doing, but why we're doing it and the way we're doing it. And I would have to spend an hour with each person on the phone. And, I just keep saying to them, listen, here are, 6 different ways that you can get a hold of the newsletter if you don't have one. But you really need to read it front to back, cover to cover, every article, every detail. And then if you still have questions, which you probably won't, then call me. I mean, I think the thing is that they're going to read it. There are certainly things that they're not going to like, well, why can't we come and play cards yet? Well, we're all still all the directors are trying to figure some of this stuff out. How do you do that safely? So we're getting there. We're making progress.
That was a very diplomatic article that you did put in the Voice of Experience. Once again, you are excellent at writing. I really admire you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Next would be the Westfield Pride Alliance, the Pride flag raising on June 25th.
Well, we actually, the June 25th is something different, but I just wanted to let the group know that we did. I was part of the Westfield Pride Alliance. I was asked to be on that committee just as representing older adults in the LGBTQ community. So I did participate in the flag raising and made a short speech just again on behalf of older adults and our need to really identify them so that we can help them if they need our assistance. I also, Denny Akins, who's been working with me on LGBTQ issues for older adults, and I will be attending a conference on June 25th for working with LGBTQ older adults. Denny and I both have been trying to get to this conference for like 3 years. It's always the end of June and it's in the Boston area. And it's just been a kind of hard to manage that. But this year it's virtual. So we're both signed up for it. We're both doing it. And this is one of those instances where it makes it a lot easier for us to participate. So we're both really looking forward to it's a full day conference. So I think we'll learn a lot and bring a lot back. And I think, there were a lot of people on the Westfield Pride Alliance that were advocating for youth and students. And I think it was really important that older adults also be represented. And I have to be honest and say that the younger people that are involved with the movement were really not aware of some of the issues that the older adults in that community have faced in their lifetime. So I think there's been a really great bridging of the gap of, you know, the communication gap among generations. So we are making progress.
Good. Thank you for doing that. Are there any questions or comments? Next on the agenda would be the summer meeting format.
Right. Well, Liz had brought this up, and I believe, Councilor Figgy, I'm going to bring you into this. Is the city council going to start? I know they don't typically meet over the summer too much, but are they back? Are they going to be doing in person? What's your status over there?
Well, I have a feeling we start budget hearings in person tomorrow. That means our council meetings will be back in person, as well as all other boards and commissions. So the governor's order expires at midnight tonight, so it's back to normal because there's no provision to allow us to do anything else.
Right. I believe that the House is taking that up tomorrow. They were talking about, because I heard it on the news this morning, they were talking about like a week-long extension just until the House figures out what they want to do. But okay. So
I know the Senate passed something and sent it to the House.
right.
It didn't include Zoom meetings, so
Right. Okay.
we'll wait and see. But unless something happens before midnight,
Okay.
our budget hearing tomorrow night will be in chambers.
Okay. And Pete, did you, you're nodding your head, but jump in here because you are media man. Okay. 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 Thank you, Pete. So that answers your question, Liz. So our next meeting, which is on July, whenever it is, July 12th, would be in person in room 201. I just have to, but I have to make sure that we can get room 201 because I booked all the Zoom meetings, you know, like through the summer. Okay. So if people want to participate, Pete, they have to show up in person like the old days. Okay. All right. Okay.
A question, Tina. If we go back to the in-person format, will it be possible if someone isn't comfortable coming back? Is it going to be possible to either call in or do something like that? Zoom won't be available. No? Okay. 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 Thank you, Peter. Okay, so I don't have to worry about next month about not being able to be in person or being able to Zoom.
Right.
Okay, that will take care of one of my problems.
Me too.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I have to say though, you know, for me, it's a blessing and a curse because it is super convenient. It's so much faster for me to be here. And then, you know, as soon as the meeting's over, I'm already here. And plus I'm trying to juggle 6 things at once. So it is a bit more of a, you know, I got used to that flexibility of I can do this. And then when I'm done, I'm done. I don't have to get in my car and come back. So, but.
And I don't, this is my opinion, but I don't think we've lost any of our effectiveness.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I really don't.
So that I think this has really worked. It's really worked. So,
Well,
Actually,
on my end, Jim, on my end,
Yes.
this is Liz, on my end, even through this meeting, I've had you freeze 3 times. So
Oh, wow.
I don't think I've missed
Okay,
much of
so-
anything, but I do miss a few things, and that happens with every meeting. So for me,
Oh.
as a secretary to the board,
Yeah.
it's very important that I hear everything. So I am actually relieved to go back to in person.
good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, Liz. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
I actually have one, Jim, and this one is also for Counselor Figgy. I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, Ralph, but many years ago, I think when I first started, I had asked if why our meetings couldn't be held at the senior center and why they had to be held at City Hall. I don't remember what the answer was, and I'm not sure if it was, accessibility or whatever. I'm not really sure. But Barbara had been over at the senior center last week to sign something, and she had asked me, and the only reason that I brought it up was because I think don't the fire commissioners sometimes meet at one of the firehouses?
Right.
So I don't know if I guess my question would be, who would I contact about finding out if we could meet at the senior center?
Shanna?
Shanna, okay, all right,
or
All right.
Karen?
okay. Well, I will look into that and I'll report back.
That would be great. I'd really like to meet at the senior center.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd like that too.
okay, I'll look into it.
Excellent. Okay. Any other questions or comments? We don't have any items for action this month. And then the next thing on the agenda would be the report from the director.
So my report is the review of programs I've already reviewed what we're doing here, so I'm not going to go through those again. But I do want to comment on our Channel 15 programming. This month, the Westfield Council on Aging Presents series is Harry Rock interviewed Jen Fernandez from the Thrive program. The Thrive program is funded through the United Way. It's a personal financial coaching program, and they help people with budgets and bank accounts, building and repairing credit, reducing debt. It's a fabulous program. I've had Jen on my radio show before. We've worked with her. Karen Noblet has referred seniors to her. And I find that one of the things that's really helpful with what she does is when you've got a couple that's been married for, 50 or 60 years, and one of them did all the financial stuff, one of them did all the banking or wrote all the checks. If that one is the first to die, you're left with somebody who literally doesn't even know how to balance a checkbook. So, Jen, that Thrive program, they will go to the bank with you. I mean, they'll hold your hand, they'll walk you through. It's a fabulous program. So anyway, that's our Tuesday afternoon educational program for June, which has been really well received. The performance is John Lucido is our entertainment for the month of June. And so that's on Wednesday afternoons and Saturday evenings. And he did a great job. So we're getting good feedback about that. We did, at the end of May, we held our Mother's Day curbside luncheon. We had an airport theme. It was hysterical. It was hilarious. The staff all dressed in all the women, we all wore like blue pants, dark pants and white tops. And we had like a scarf. So we looked like flight attendants, and Joyce Peregrine made us these wings. And then we had, the guys wore, we had, the pilot and the co-pilot. So they were dressed up in their white and blue. And then we had, the people that were bringing the planes out in their vests. And it was just, it was a great time. The seniors had a good time. They all dressed like they were going on vacation. All the moms, all the females got a gift from us. We had 125 eager passengers. We had signage with departure and arrival, because that's what we feel like when we're out there. You're directing traffic and you feel like you're working in an airport. So anyway, it was really a great time. We had a lot of fun and took some good pictures. Upcoming programs. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim.
No, I just appreciated it. It was fun to see what everybody was doing.
It was a riot. I felt like a flight attendant with my cart and everything. Upcoming programs this Wednesday is our Diabetes Dialogue on my Wake Up Wednesday show. Jen DeFune facilitates that. And the topic this month is controlling cholesterol levels. And Lori Sapalik from the Westfield News did a really nice story on our Diabetes Dialogue monthly segment. So that was great. As I mentioned, Liz Boucher and company will be in house on Thursday afternoon for the Novel Ideas Book Group. There are 18 people registered. We'll put them in the annex. Right now, we're keeping everything on the first floor. As we've explained to people, once we have a program in here and they leave, we've got to clean and sanitize and do all of that good stuff. So right now, we're just keeping it to a couple of rooms. We're using the Creativity Center and the annex, which is downstairs in the great room. We can close the wall off in there. So that'll be this week. We are doing on the 24th, we're doing our Father's Day curbside picnic luncheon. So that'll be kind of picnic fare. We're doing barbecue chicken and macaroni salad, but the real draw to this is a dad-size ice cream sundae for dessert that we'll be making. So we've already got we just opened registration. We've got 116 people registered already for that. And again, the Westfield News did a story on that. So thank you to them. Channel 15, we are working on our summer performance. And what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to do, because we've been doing a different performer each month. But for the summer, because of Pete's schedule, he's going to be away and people are taking advantage of vacation time. So we're going to do one performer for the months of July and August, and that's going to be Ed Bentley. And Ed I just heard from him this morning. So he's going to be working with Pete and Jay Pagluka and Kenny Stomsky to do the taping of that within the next couple of weeks. And then we'll air his program throughout July and August. And Ed writes some of his own work, and he wrote a song kind of about surviving the pandemic. So I'm anxious to hear that. So that'll be the entertainment. The Westfield Council on Aging Presents series for July. I've asked Judge John Greeny, who wrote the Goodrich decision on the legalization of same-sex marriage in Massachusetts. He just did a presentation. He just did a talk, which he told me about. And he said, I'd be happy to do it for the seniors. And I said, great, you're hired. We're going to put you on Channel 15. So he is going to be interviewed by Harry Rock for the July segment. I mentioned that we'll be bringing chair yoga indoors, and the other fitness programs that we currently have under the tent will continue under the tent for July. And I think I hit all of the indoor programming. Oh, the other one I didn't tell you. So we're doing chess. Now I've got it in front of me. Chess. The Sassy Stitchers group, they'll be coming back next week. So they'll be meeting weekly. The Art Unlimited class, the quilting group, bingo. We did one bingo in June. We're going to do 2 in July, and then the side-by-side support group. And that's it.
Tina, was there have you got a date for when John Greany is going to be doing his speech?
Yeah. So Jim, the way that works is that when we do the educational series, it's aired every Tuesday. It's aired every Tuesday on Channel 15 at 2:45.
Tuesday.
So,
at 2:45, and that's during the month of July.
So that'll be throughout the month of July. And also, okay. I think for almost all of the Westfield Council on Aging Present series, Pete Coles has also bundled those onto YouTube. So you can, once they've been aired, like you can go onto YouTube now, look under Senior Center Programming. There's tons of stuff. Yeah. It's everything we've done during the pandemic. So all of the Council on Aging Presents, I think almost every single one of them is up on YouTube. So there are really lots of opportunities for catching up with some of those.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, none heard. Our next meeting is going to be on Monday, July 12th, 2021 at 1 p.m. And it sounds like it's going to be in room 201 at City Hall, unless Tina can arrange to have it at the Senior Center.
Right.
Okay.
And
once again, Tina, thank you for what you and your staff do for the seniors. It's much appreciated.
Well, thank you to thank you to the board, because I couldn't do it without you. And to those who, everybody, we had a couple of reappointments. Eileen just got reappointed. Carrie just got reappointed. Barbara is up for reappointment at this week's council meeting. So I'll be meeting
Okay.
with the Personal Action Committee about that on Thursday before the council meeting. I think it's this week. And so she's up for reappointment. So thank you for all for serving, especially now because we're down in numbers for a little while, but we'll get them back up to speed.
Yeah. Okay. So if there isn't any other comments, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
And a second to that motion.
Carrie, I'll second.
I'll do that. Oh, okay.
Carrie did. So Liz,
All in-
Yes,
that was Barbara that made the motion
Right.
and Carrie that seconded.
right, caught it. Thank you.
Aye.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed? Very good. This meeting is adjourned. Everybody really have a good afternoon.